It's time to get your geek on with Dave Gramillion.
Yes, and we are back. We are back for another fun-filled and fabulous episode of Get Your Geek On Talk Radio here on 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. theanswer.com. I am Dave Gramillion. Welcome here, everyone. This is the premier talk radio show for geeks in the United States. Oh, let's just throw it out there, on the planet. This is the place where we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. Geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Oh, no. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 9:30 a.m. Talk Radio and 9:30 a.m. theanswer.com. This is episode number 22, and tonight...
We graduate from college this
That's
episode.
right. Well, I don't know about graduating. It takes about 5 years now to get through instead of 4, so... 4-year colleges really aren't 4 years anymore.
That's true.
So, we're getting close, though. But so tonight, we'll talk a little election now that it's all said and done. Just a little. We've kept politics out of the show, and I'm very proud of keeping politics out of the show. But considering what happened, I do feel it necessary to comment a little, a hair, a piece, just a little bit.
This is my 1 hour a week that I'm here at the station that I don't have to listen to that stuff.
Oh, my God. Isn't it awesome?
It's great.
I mean, because it's everywhere. It was everywhere before, it's everywhere after, and it's going to be everywhere for the next 4 years. But this is your safe haven. This is your safe space. This is your escape.
This is our oasis.
Absolutely. So, but I'll talk about that for just a little bit, because we do need to acknowledge what happened. But we have a lot of Marvel news we want to get into. Mel Gibson has opened his mouth once again, talking about Marvel movies. And so we're going to have a little fun at his expense because, well, it's just that easy. Also, Doctor Strange, we want to recap that because it's now been out in the box office for at least a week. So we want to talk about all the fun that's going on there. Tom Holland has opened his mouth as well. We'll get into what he said. And coming up after the break, I want to talk a little bit about something that we discussed a bit on Saturday when we had our live call-in show last week. If you miss Attack of the Callers, it's always so much fun. It really is to hear from the people. I love it. I absolutely love hearing from people. And you can check that out on our podcast. That's 9:30 a.m. theanswer.com. But I want to talk about something that we brought up. The Force Awakens, blockbuster of blockbusters.
Really, really enjoyable movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's a fun film. But how does it stack up against Star Trek Beyond? Because everybody loves a good Star Wars versus Star Trek debate. Everybody loves that, even though it's apples and oranges because it's science fiction.
Except for the first two Star Trek movies.
Yeah, it's science fiction versus science fantasy. Okay, I'm not going to make any illusions that Star Wars is science fiction because it's not.
No. It
is definitely science fantasy. But everybody loves Star Wars versus Star Trek. So we're going to talk about Force Awakens versus Star Trek Beyond and which one's the better movie. And I'm going to want to hear from y'all in the chat on this one. I want some serious audience participation. I want to hear from y'all in the chat. And for those people that are listening and they're like, what chat are you talking about? I don't get it. What we do is we actually run the show on Facebook for our Facebook audience on Thursday. And you can interact with us on Thursday at facebook.com/GYGO official. So you kind of get a little bit of a sneak peek there on Thursday.
However, if they want to go back and watch the show later, they can do that as well, make their comments as we're talking about it in the show.
Absolutely. All comments are welcome at any time. No problem at all. You can comment on Saturday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, 3 months down the road. It doesn't matter. You can also do it on YouTube.
You can also do it on any show that you missed.
That's true. So,
speaking of shows that you missed, where can they get shows that they missed? Well, such as Attack of the Callers last week.
You can get any show that you missed on our podcast, which I mentioned the podcast. You can also, we keep the videos on our Facebook page, which I've got the Facebook page down, and we have a YouTube channel up as well, and we're trying to get all the videos uploaded. It's a process to get all the videos uploaded to YouTube as well. But here's the key: when you want to find us anywhere on social media, the moniker is GYGO official. That is where we are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. It's GYGO official. We are the official Get Your Geek On show, and the icon is always the same. It's a headset with GYGO underneath. It's like a gaming headset. Get it, get your geek on. So that's where you can find us over there. Now,
almost as if the guy who does your branding knows what he's doing.
Well, yeah, that too. All right. So what I also want to mention is that I am Dave. I am the talk radio show host, and with
Supreme
me always
Geek.
with the Supreme Geek, as dubbed by Think Geek. Think Geek themselves dubbed me the Supreme Geek, so I'll take that. With me right here in the chair to my left, your right on the radio dial, is Goose,
Hello.
my co-pilot for this one. We need some dog tags. Wouldn't that be awesome? Some Goose dog tags.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, because it didn't go too well.
Maybe we can have goose tags.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, hey, Goose Day. That'd be nice. Okay, so let me make sure I have everything I need in order to get the show fired up, fired and ready to roll. First, if you're going to talk for an hour, you got to have something to drink. So do I have that?
And even though this is episode 22, it is still non-alcoholic.
Yes, it is. Very much so. A back scratcher, I find, is always helpful to have because you got to get that one spot in the middle of your back. Have a back scratcher. I think the world will be better off if more people have back scratchers. And they're like $1. I mean, seriously, people, go get a back scratcher. It's $1. All right. And, of course, if you're going to have a geeky talk show, I fully believe that there's one thing you have to have, and that is Old Blue, my lightsaber of many, many years that I have held onto and gotten autographed. Yours doesn't have to be autographed, but if you're going to run a geeky show, yeah.
But if it is autographed, please let us know who.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see some autographed memorabilia from people. That would be fantastic. Okay, so... the last little bit, of course, we added the fourth step to our geeky checklist here. You got to wear something geeky, and you can be geeky and proud. And I have my Think Geek Star Wars Alliance hat,
Very
Rebel
nice.
Alliance,
Very
and
nice.
I'm rocking the Batman T-shirt today that I got from Six Flags also many years ago.
So you overpaid for that.
Yeah, I absolutely overpaid for it and didn't enjoy the experience at all, and in typical Six Flags fashion.
All right.
Goose, what are you rocking?
So I've got my little incognito Captain America red, white, and blue button-up shirt and a little Superman magnet there on the pocket.
Did you just say red, white, and blue?
Listen here. I spent like 3 years in like a speech therapy deal, and sometimes it comes back.
Sorry. Okay. All right. I'll leave that alone then.
Or I could just do my fucking place.
Red, white, and blue.
I go hunting
wabbits?
Blue while I'm hunting wabbits.
Hunting wabbits. Okay. Alrighty. So with that being said, let's move on to the first thing. Let's get this out of the way. All right. Let's go ahead before we get up the Marvel news. Let's acknowledge and touch on the election. Okay, alrighty. So, election 2016 is upon us, and it has now passed. Or at least, I kind of hoped it would have passed by this point, but apparently it hasn't. Here are my thoughts on the election. Here's the thing. Regardless of who you vote for, okay, it's done. It's over with. And to be honest, I was surprised by the result. Even I was surprised by just what happened. My gut told me there was no way Trump would win. But he did, and he won in a convincing fashion. Oh, but he lost the popular vote. Yeah, shut up. It's the Electoral College that matters. He won that in a convincing fashion. He's the president. And then what happens? Everybody swears the stock market's going to tank. It didn't. It actually went up. Everybody swears there are going to be riots. Oh, yeah, there were. It strikes me as odd. And this is like the only political statement I'm going to make. I swear it is. But it strikes me as odd that the side that talks about tolerance and their moniker, their motto is love trumps hate. Get it? Love trumps hate. They're the ones that are protesting, rioting, and beating up, actually physically assaulting Trump's supporters. And they're calling for the assassination of Trump. And it just strikes me as odd. I mean, it strikes me as hypocritical, to be honest with you, but I just... You didn't see this in 2008. You didn't see this in 2012. You lost.
You didn't see it in 2000 or 2004 either.
No, you didn't. You didn't. When W. Bush won, even in 2000, with the disputed Florida hanging pregnant Chad nonsense that went on, there were no mass protests or mass riots in the street. And I understand people are concerned about what a Trump presidency is. To be honest, I am too. I don't know what it's going to bring exactly. But the idea that the way to deal with the election is to set things on fire, loot stores, and physically assault people when you're the ones who are accusing Trump of the hate. America, we're better than this. We should be better than this. The election's over. There's no chance of a recount. He won. It's 4 years. And you get to... and that was the thing, is that I asked somebody straight up, because he said he went to a protest to go protest Trump in the Bay Area. And I said, let me ask you this. What was the purpose? What do you hope to accomplish from these protests? He said, I just want to make sure my voice is heard. Well, you made your voice heard at the ballot box, didn't you? That's how you make your voice heard. And what happened at that protest? Riots, looting, cars set on fire. I mean, America's better than this. We should be better than this. You know, just go watch a movie, okay? Go calm down. Go settle yourself down. It's going to be okay, America. Because I remember the panic in 2007 when Obama was elected the first time, and the right flipped out. They thought it was all over. They thought the country was going to fall apart. People were saying then they're going to move to Canada. When Obama was elected, they didn't move. The country didn't fall apart. Civil unrest wasn't, the norm. We got through it.
And you got a geek talk show during the Obama administration.
There you go.
Makes it kind of better.
Maybe that's the hope and change he was talking about, was changing talk radio for the better. So look, it is what it is, and I understand. Like I said, I want to make it clear that I understand people are concerned and people are worried, but come on, we are, as a nation, as a people, as parents of children, you should be better than this. Is what I'm trying to get out of this election nonsense. Now,
as an employee of the station and not of the show, I am obligated to say this. The preceding statement is the opinion of David Gramillion. It does not reflect that of 9:30 a.m. The Answer or Salem Media Group.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, this is my show, and I can say what I like, provided, of course, that I meet regulations, federal regulations, and, of course, it's mine, and, I'm not saying what they're endorsing or anything like that. Look, it is what it is, but I think we can do better. I think we should do better. We absolutely should do better. And I'm not saying one side is right. I'm not saying one side is wrong. I'm not saying don't look for a deeper meaning in what I'm trying to say here. We should be better than this. We absolutely should.
Speaking of better.
Yes.
We've got some news to talk about.
Yes, we do.
That has nothing to do with politics.
Yes. So that's it. That is my political statement. We are now officially moving on. Let's talk some Marvel news.
This is that sequel to the smash hit with no equal. This one's for the true fans with Hulk hands and action figures flying, dining.
I'll never get tired of that theme song. That is awesome. Alrighty, so let's talk some Doctor Strange here, shall we? Doctor Strange at the box office blew apart expectations. The expectation, as I recall, was somewhere around $55 to $70 million opening. Yeah, no, 4-day opening was only $18 million behind Iron Man 1. As of Thursday, it hit $331 million worldwide. So it did rather well at the box office.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. Could have done better, to be honest with you. It is the 10th largest opening for a Marvel movie behind Thor: The Dark World. Just barely, but it is behind Thor: The Dark World. Now, there's a lot of hope behind the second Thor movie because everybody liked the first one. And then they saw the second one, they were like, what the hell was that?
I liked the second one. I've liked every Marvel movie since Iron Man.
Okay, one of these days you're going to have to explain to me what Thor 2 was all about because I couldn't follow the end. I couldn't... When they're doing this, and Darcy's got to do this, but Jane has to. Well, Thor is, and
I'll have to watch it again. I haven't watched it in like 2 years.
Yeah, because I couldn't follow that one at all. But $331 million worldwide, only $18 million behind Iron Man 1 in its 4-day total, the 10th largest opening for a Marvel movie. It got an A from CinemaScore, 90% from Rotten Tomato critics, and 91% from the fans. It also got an 8 out of 10 from 84,196 users on IMDb.
There you go.
So this is not a critic thing. Everybody's starting to say now that, oh, see, the critics, they hate DC movies. And it's biased because they love Marvel. Well, it's users now that are saying it. It's the people that are going to the movie that are saying it's a pretty good movie. The Rotten Tomato score puts it just barely ahead of Civil War. Think about that for a minute. The people are saying that this movie is just that much better than Civil War and just below Guardians of the Galaxy and the first Avengers movie.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well,
that's just me, though, and I enjoyed Civil War for a myriad of reasons, none of which I'm going to get into right now.
Well, that's true, but please do, because Goose, you have seen the Doctor Strange movie. I haven't yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the crowds to filter out a little bit before.
No,
I
you're
see
just trying
it.
to make sure that the second week numbers don't go down.
Yeah, I can shore up the numbers if I can help Disney out that much more. Okay, so be it. But let's see. What do you think, Doctor Strange?
I really did enjoy it. It's a good, true to the comic book sort of telling of the origin of Doctor Strange.
Okay.
It doesn't end where you think it would.
Well, right now I don't know how it would end.
But you would think in most Marvel origin stories you get us to where he is in the comics currently.
Yes.
Not so much.
Okay.
There is, as with any Marvel movie, stay to the very, 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 very end. The mid-credit scene sets up a crossover, and the end credit scene sets up the next Doctor Strange movie.
Okay, all right, well, that works. Let me go to the chat here real quick. Scott Messner says Doctor Strange was great. John Dingson says, oh my God, yes, Doctor Strange, 5 stars. So there we go. We're hearing from people all across America tonight talking about Doctor Strange. Would you give it, what score would you get it? And you can use fractions and decimals and whatever.
Honestly, I'm going to go with a solid 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
So that would be 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty
well,
good.
Because I have a hard time giving things a 5.
Yeah.
Just because I reserve that. I can easily give Civil War a 4.5 and feel good about it. Honestly, Star Trek Beyond gets a 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, to me, I do things on a scale of 10, and I never give anything a 0, because every movie, even Manos: The Hands of Fate, had at least one redeeming quality. Mm-hmm. And I never give anything a 10 out of 10 because there's no such thing as a perfect movie.
Have you seen Star Trek Beyond?
Yes, I own the 4K Blu-ray of goodness.
I got the combo pack DVD Blu-ray digital with the 3 ships.
Okay.
I had it at Walmart for like $25.
Yeah, I didn't get that. But even that, I thought the movie was fantastic. We'll get into that versus The Force Awakens here coming up. But I thought it was a great movie, but I wouldn't give it I wouldn't even give Empire Strikes Back 10 out of 10. Because there's just no such thing as a perfect movie.
We'll talk later.
Okay, all right, we'll talk later. Let's see here. George Rivera, going back to the chat, says the visuals were insane.
They were insane.
From what I heard, it was our guest last week, Serena Hernandez. No, it wasn't. It was
a caller.
It was a caller. That's right. It was
from Virginia.
From Virginia. I'm trying to remember her name. I'm trying to Autumn.
It was Autumn.
It was Autumn from Virginia. That's what it was. She called in and said that it was like MC Airshare exploded.
I will agree to that, actually.
Like Inception on steroids.
My gosh, that the big battle, because every Marvel movie's got to have a big battle.
Oh, of course.
It was craziness.
Okay. Well,
IMAX 3D is the way to go.
All right, so that's the way to go.
Or D-Box 3D, one of the two. But you got to do 3D and then either IMAX or D-Box.
All righty. Well, I hope to see it this weekend, so I can give my official review, because I know that's what everyone's really waiting to hear, is what I think about it. So, yes, that was sarcasm. So Mel Gibson has decided to open his mouth once more.
Hacksaw Ridge I want to see.
I want to see that too. I think Andrew Garfield just looks fantastic in that role. I think he does. I'm looking forward to that.
It's a Mel
movie.
Gibson war movie. It just looks good just because of that.
That's true. I mean, We Were Soldiers was really good.
Braveheart
was really good. What was another war movie he was in?
Did he direct The Patriot, or was he just in it?
I think he was just in it.
It's still a good movie.
A little about 45 minutes too long, but it was a good movie. All right, so Mel Gibson talked to the Washington Post, and he said, because he's talking about Hacksaw Ridge and the violence in the movie, right? Because it's a war movie, and he says, to talk about the violence question, look at any Marvel movie, Gibson told the Washington Post. Quote, they're more violent than anything that I've done. But in my movies, you give a blank about the characters, which makes it matter more.
Okay, so he's kind of right in that. Marvel movies tend to be violent. As far as there's a lot of death, there's a lot of fights,
There's a lot of off-screen deaths. I mean, there's cities blowing up and all that, and buildings collapsing, but you don't see people die.
Here's the difference, though. When Mel Gibson tells a war movie, he tells a present-day, historically based war movie. Marvel tells comic book movies.
True.
So there's a difference there in the comic book fantasy aspect versus looking back at an actual event in history and creating your fictional world around that.
Let me ask you a question. Flash question. First thing that comes into your head, don't think, just go. What is more violent, Marvel movies or Lord of the Rings movies?
Lord of the Rings movies.
There you go. And that's swords slinging around. That is people you can see, as opposed to buildings coming down and you don't know if there are people in them or not.
It's CGI trolls, you can see.
Yeah, well, pretty much. So, but think about this though. Mel Gibson was involved in Braveheart, which he was dismembered in. Had those massive battle scenes. People got decapitated and chopped in half and all that. He was in Apocalypto. Do we really need to talk about the violence in that movie? In case you're not aware, there's human sacrifice in it, and it's graphic human sacrifice. I'll leave it at that. Hacksaw Ridge, another war movie, and The Passion of the Christ. Do we need to talk about the violence in The Passion of the Christ? But Marvel movies are more violent. See, it's violence on a different scale. Okay, the violence in Passion of the Christ was directed at one person. There were no buildings coming down. The Romans were not collapsing cities or anything like that. It was violence directed at one in particular person. It was graphic, brutal violence, but there it was. Whereas Marvel movies, yeah, there are some large-scale battles, but, I mean, Age of Ultron were robots being attacked.
What's also the difference between macro violence and micro violence?
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, maybe Marvel movies are more violent, but it's not as intimate. Let me put it that way.
Yeah,
it's not as intimate. So that I don't know that you can really make the distinction.
Like
there.
the Nova Corps dying in Guardians.
Yeah, I mean that's spaceships fall out of the sky, and you're like, big deal.
Versus, let's say, in any character of Saving Private Ryan dying.
There you go. All right, so Tom Holland. Tom Holland has talked to the Hollywood Reporter, and he has announced that he is Spider-Man for the long haul. And what do I mean by the long haul? He said, quote, this is from the Hollywood Reporter, "I do know I have 3 Spider-Man appearances in other movies and 3 solo movies contracted." Okay, so we know Spider-Man Homecoming. There will be a sequel and probably an ending to the trilogy. All right. That's good. But 3 Spider-Man appearances in other movies.
So Infinity War.
And Infinity War 2.
Or whatever they're calling it.
Well, whatever they're going to call it. The 2 has the Infinity War. And what's this third Spider-Man movie?
Well, third crossover movie.
Third appearance of Spider-Man. What's the third appearance? I don't know. I can't even imagine. Captain Marvel?
Because didn't Robert Downey Jr. said there were no more solo Iron Man movies?
There might be one more.
Okay. So I can see that for Iron Spider.
Yeah, he's hinted both things. He hinted that he was done, and he hinted they may come back for one more. Could he make an appearance in Captain Marvel?
Possibly. Because especially if Carol starts out at the Avengers compound.
Well, maybe not starts out, but
if it gets there.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to look up the Marvel movie list. What movies coming up could Spider-Man possibly appear in? And I want to hear from people in the chat too about your theories about what this could possibly be, because I'm stumped. I don't even know what the appearance could be. I'm trying to find it too before we run out of time, but the Wi-Fi is slow. I'm trying. But here's an interesting question. John Dingson says, what's more violent, Marvel or DC movies?
Again, it goes back to macro versus micro, because you felt what happened in Dawn of Justice
and Dark Knight Returns.
Well, I'm talking more about the connected universe stuff.
All right, here we go. We have Infinity War, Captain Marvel, Black Panther,
Okay. No, I don't see Black Panther being that.
Then Thor Ragnarok. He's not going to be in that one.
That's going to be Hulk, though.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It won't be that one.
No.
That's it. That's all the movies that are slated to come out so far. So it's got to be either Black Panther, which it could be,
Or Captain Marvel.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that one and see where Tom Holland is going to end up. Coming up after the break, we're going to kind of freeform it here a little bit, but we do want to talk Force Awakens versus Star Trek Beyond. That's coming up right here after the break. And we are back from the bottom of the hour break here on 9:30 a.m. and 930amtheanswer.com. If you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, we thank you for that. If you're listening to us on the website streaming, we thank you for that. If you're listening to us on your radio dial, we thank you for that. If you're listening to us via the podcast, via Facebook.com/GYGOofficial, or now on YouTube at GYGOofficial, or you can look at Get Your Geek on Talk Radio, we thank you for that as well. We are literally everywhere now. This is incredible.
We try.
We do our best.
Well, that's true. So if you missed the first half of the hour, that's okay. It'll be on the podcast. But Peter was not here because our new mascot, Bob the Rancor, apparently got lost.
Well, not only that, but he understands that if he gets here late and the on-air light is on, you don't come in.
Yeah, no. Have you already tried it? I'll tell you, this door's magnetically sealed.
Don't say that to Bob, because, the door.
Oh, yeah, door sealing. Yeah, that's...
the good part is it's a swing door, not a gravity base.
Okay, it works.
Yeah,
it works.
That works.
Good.
Okay, so...
But Bob was driving. He got lost.
So in the first half, we had an awful lot of Marvel news.
We did.
Which is fantastic. And we also got the election stuff out of the way, so that's awesome.
Oh, boy, yes.
And this is a good point. Before we get into the rest of the news here, Charles Keller brought up something. He's our Canadian listener. He's up in Manitoba.
Canada.
And he wants to know if this is Roxy the Rancor's little brother.
Nah.
No.
I checked. No, sorry.
Very little brother.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk to y'all real quick about the wonderment that is Laser Legend. Laser Legend is a big supporter of all the Wounded Warriors. We just had Veterans Day, which is fantastic. They had a great special on for that. These people have something special going on all the time. They have a 2-story laser tag event center. They have indoor miniature golf, that kind of glow golf, that black light golf is really cool.
We're gonna have to go do that sometime.
They have a great arcade set up. They have a great party area set up. The prices are also great too, and the prizes you can win from them are fantastic. I strongly recommend checking out Laser Legend on
Lookout Road.
Lookout Road. Overlook is what I was. Lookout Road near I-35 up north on 1604.
Pinball update.
Pinball update. I still rock.
Number 1, number 2.
Number 2. It's difficult getting that top spot. It really is. That top spot is rough to get, but still got the second best score on the pinball machine, so I'm good. The owner swears he's going to try and knock me out. I'm like, whatever, bro, bring it. I don't care. Star Trek Into Darkness, so I rock that thing. So big shout out to our friends over at Laser Legend. All right, so let's talk. We're going to have a bit of a versus here. So let's go ahead and discuss something we haven't discussed before, and that's versus.
That's right.
Woo. I love that distortion.
I feel like I'm riding in a battle. Oh, wait, I just got a traffic out of Austin.
That was a battle.
That was a battle.
Yeah, I-35 is a battle.
I'm doing 5 and a 7.
By the way, I'm going to re-record this after the show. This is horrible.
I've heard better.
I produced better.
Ooh. He's holding himself to a higher standard there.
All right, now that nonsense is over.
Alrighty, so The Force Awakens is the blockbuster of blockbusters. Over $2 billion worldwide. Came this close to knocking off Titanic, and did actually knock it off domestically.
Yay!
It is the highest grossing
that piece of garbage is gone.
Domestic film of all time. So that's the good news. And then here comes Star Trek Beyond. And Star Trek Beyond
yes.
did well at the box office. Not as well as some would have hoped.
That's true. But Into Darkness is to blame for that. That's what I'm going to say.
More than likely. So, but still an enjoyable film.
Very enjoyable film.
In fact, I would go so far as to say it stacks up rather well against The Force Awakens.
That's your opinion. I have a slightly different one.
Well, here we go. We're going to get into this now. We're going to talk about this. Let's break this down. There are 3 categories that I want to discuss specifically because these are the ones that really matter.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into who had the best lightsaber duel or who had the best fight scene or whatever. Because
Star Trek doesn't have lightsaber duels,
so it would be a short discussion. For me, the three categories are characters, special effects, plot and story.
Okay.
So let's break down Force Awakens versus Star Trek Beyond. The characters. Very
Characters.
well. Okay,
Now,
we got Rey in Force Awakens, obviously. We got John Boyega as Finn. You got Han Solo.
Han, Chewie.
You got Chewie.
Leia.
You got some of Leia. You got
Poe.
Maz Kanata. You got Poe Dameron.
BB-8.
Yeah, BB-8.
Yep.
Pretty good
Ben
character.
Skywalker.
Also, quick shout out to Brian Herring. Thank you very much. Got to hang out with him at Alamo City Comic Con. That was fun.
Didn't he have dinner with you guys?
He actually did. He sat like right next to me and told me some things about Force Awakens that I wasn't sure he was supposed to tell me. So, like, Snoke, the whole name was JJ's idea. He came up with that on his own and kept it in there. And I'm like, please tell him, because I begged him, I'm like, please tell me that it's not his real name. Because that's one of the stupidest names I've ever heard for a villain. He said, nope, it's all JJ's idea. That's all his creation, and it's his real name. And I was like,
okay. Well, there we go.
Okay, so anyway. All right,
out
so,
of the droid's mouth.
So characters on Force Awakens, fantastic.
Good characters. However, except for the ones we already knew, not very developed.
Captain Phasma was a horrible letdown.
Yeah, because everybody was like, when they built her up so much and nothing happened.
And then the trailers and the merchandise was everywhere about her.
Yeah, because she was so hard to find just in the action figure. Believe me, I looked.
Yep.
Just with the regular 5-point articulation, she was still hard to find. Still kind of hard to find.
She's the only bobblehead from Force Awakens that I have.
Right.
Because it's Captain Phasma.
Right.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great design, but
Kylo Ren.
yeah. Whiny little.
Hold on, are we talking about Kylo or Anakin?
Hey. Yeah, we really don't know what to make of Kylo Ren at this point. Because you need more of the trilogy to figure it out.
With the main characters of the show, because really Han, Chewie, and Leia were secondary in there to move the story forward. But Daisy,
pass the torch.
Finn, Poe, Kylo. There's 2 more stories at a minimum to tell.
But for the purposes of just this movie, Kylo was conflicted. He was a badass in the beginning, and then just kind of went a little downhill from there.
Yeah, I think he's got a great design and a great premise and some promise and everything. I just want to see what else they can do with him. He's still kind of on the fence. Like when you had Vader, you knew he was the bad guy.
Oh, yeah, there's no question.
When you saw Maul, yes, that's the bad guy.
Yep.
Even, Dooku, it's the bad guy. He's,
Well, part of you wants Kylo to turn away from the dark side just because of who he is.
Right.
True.
He's been Solo.
Right.
So,
he's certainly Solo now.
So is Leia, but that's a different issue.
No Father's Day presents going out.
Too soon.
It just kind of gets me right here, especially being a Han Solo. It
Gets you right in the heart, does it?
Gets right in
here.
the chest. That's where it gets you.
And out through the back.
Okay, so now we're talking about the Star Trek Beyond characters.
Okay,
all right.
So on that one, they've had 2 movies to develop the characters.
They have.
So we didn't have a lot of intro. We could go straight into character development.
Yep.
And those are probably the best developed characters of the 2 movies we're talking about, because we got to actually see the Spock Bones relationship the way we had always saw it with Leonard and DeForest.
The chemistry was fantastic.
It was great. Chris Pine has become the Jim Kirk that we wanted him to be.
Right.
Scotty is Scotty.
Right.
It's Simon Pegg.
Yeah, Simon Pegg, Scotty, that's great. Sulu's great. Uhura is more developed than we've ever had Nichelle Nichols be in her entire 20-plus year career.
not even close.
Like 25-year career as Uhura.
Yep.
So from a character standpoint, I have to give the edge to Star Trek Beyond.
Whoa.
Well, think about it. What characters in Star Trek Beyond fell flat?
None.
I mean, you could make the argument that the villain was not as well developed as he could have been.
You could, but if you developed him too much, you'd give away the ending.
Exactly. So it's okay. I'm trying to think about. I mean, he had a henchman, but you didn't really need him except to be muscle. So there were really no characters in Star Trek Beyond that fell flat. Whereas you could argue that Force Awakens had 1.5. So
even the admiral that we saw or the commodore that we saw for all of 5 minutes was still a relatively developed character
and a strong character.
Montgomery Station.
Impactful.
I thought you were talking General Hux.
No, I'm talking the commodore that pretty much told Kirk, you want an admiralty, you got it.
Yeah.
And we saw her. What little we saw of her, it was a relatively decent developing character for what that character was.
Okay, so we got to give point Star Trek Beyond. Okay, so now we talk about special effects.
Ooh.
And this one's going to be tough one.
This is going to be a tough one.
Let's lead this one off with Star Trek Beyond, since we led the first one off with Force Awakens.
Okay.
First of all, the Yorktown Station was mind-blowingly awesome.
It was great.
I often describe it as if Arthur C. Clarke, Robert Heinlein, and Isaac Asimov all sat down and designed a space station, that's what it would be like.
The destruction of the Enterprise.
Too soon in the movie for my taste.
It was too soon for the movie, but the effects were great.
Oh yeah,
we're not talking story yet. We're talking special effects.
And the fact that it was also a controlled explosion. It's not like it just the whole ship explodes.
But how it got taken out, was awesome. Yorktown Station, awesome.
It was.
The montage at the end, was awesome.
Yes.
Now the stuff on the planet, because it was planet based, you're not going to have a lot of special effects.
That's true.
In that. But when we're talking about special effects, as far as, if we're going to include makeup in that and digital displays and all that, that was still very good as well.
And the fight scene at the end where they have the gravity issues as they're flying around
that was
Yorktown,
awesome.
That was great. Those were effects as well.
That's probably the best, as far as special effect fights in Star Trek, that's probably the best one.
I would tend to agree with that. That
was even better than on the drill in the 2009 movie.
It definitely was. There's absolutely there was. Okay, so now we have the special effects in The Force Awakens. The lightsaber was different. We had Kylo Ren's lightsaber was all
right.
It looked really cool.
Like the Scottish sword.
Broadsword. Broadsword. It looked fantastic. The duel was great.
The interior Starkiller base was really good.
It was really
different
good.
Take on it.
The destruction of what I now know is the Hosnian system. That's what the Starkiller base blew up. That was fantastic. I mean, the way the planets blew up.
It was a very emotional scene because you saw Alderaan got blown up, but you never saw anything planet side.
Yeah, that's true. You never got to see the people see the blast.
You never saw Bail Organa see it coming.
Yeah,
right,
that's true.
Exactly.
The neat thing what I like about that was I think it really sets apart the First Order as being a little bit more evil than the Empire.
Certainly more destructive.
Yeah, because they just took out an entire system. I mean the Empire just took out one planet. They just took out. Just for the sheer heck of it, as a display of power.
And they weren't even trying to get information out of anybody.
No, they were just
doing it for kicks and grins.
Pretty much.
And then they went out for tea and crumpets afterwards.
Okay, so what other special effects? The Millennium Falcon zipping around.
We've seen it before.
We've seen it before. We hadn't really seen it on a planet, though.
No, but we saw it in an asteroid belt.
In an asteroid belt, we've seen that. I'm trying to think about
the montage, the vision montage was really good.
Ray's vision.
That was good.
That was good. Really done well. Okay, I like that one.
The battle on the planet there, the trench run. We've seen it.
Yeah,
it was.
There were
updated.
There were a lot of allusions to A New Hope.
Right.
Yeah, but still looking at the quality of the special effects, though, not comparing it to what happened in 1970.
Well, no, but a lot of that they modeled. It looked like they modeled after that. Movie.
Yeah. There's no question.
So a lot of that stuff we had seen before. It just was 2015 versus 1977 or even 1997.
Okay.
When Lucas redid it. So there wasn't a lot of groundbreaking there. The biggest groundbreaking was Starkiller Base and Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
That's about it. So I think, again, we have to say point goes to Star Trek Beyond. I mean, unless I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. Okay, so that leaves plot and story, which are interchangeable. I just kind of threw them together there. The story, there was the main story of Star Trek Beyond, which was, the revenge of Krall and all that. And
there were actually two major story points to that movie, as I saw it.
And then there was Kirk finding himself through after getting over his father's death. And that was interesting because there are a lot of comparisons to The Wrath of Khan, where Kirk is getting older and he worries about that. Here, Kirk is getting older than his father ever got to be, which is pretty freaky.
And his father went down with the ship.
With the ship as a captain.
No, as a first officer.
Well,
he got
acting captain.
Acting captain.
He was in command at the time.
Yeah.
So Kirk has that hanging over him like, man, I'm older than he ever got to be, and I'm captain of the Enterprise.
But then George went to Valhalla.
But he got Natalie Portman, so
It works.
It's okay. It is what it is. So we have two plot points going on. Plus, we have I thought the Spock thing was kind of underdeveloped. It was more hinted at in there than anything else.
As far as like the Spock bone story?
Yeah, well, no, the Spock leaving Starfleet to go make little Vulcan babies.
Well, and with that, it's not something he wanted to do. It's something he felt he had to do.
I wish they'd explored that more. I wish we'd seen the conflict within Spock while he's talking to Bones about what he wants to do versus what he has to do.
Yeah,
Should that be more conflict? Sorry, I had to do it.
No. But yeah, so that was the main. That was Spock's thing. Was, there are only so many Vulcans left in the galaxy.
I think they said about 10,000.
10,000, and if they're going to survive as a people, then the people need to do what the people need to do.
That's true.
And
should I do?
They only have once every 7 years to do it.
Well,
so.
I think they need to overlook Pon farr for these purposes. But they never really explored that one. But the story now in Force Awakens, we have one main story, and then we kind of allude to a few other things as well.
Finding Luke Skywalker. Finding
Luke Skywalker is the main story. It's not blow up the Starkiller base. It's not anything else. It's find Luke Skywalker.
He's the MacGuffin.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a living
Chekhov's
MacGuffin.
gun.
There you go.
There you go. But that's what it is. Now you have Rey's past and Rey's future that kind of comes into play.
Yeah, you know what you don't have? Han Solo's future.
Oh.
Well, so that's kind of a sidebar. John Boyega's story as Finn is kind of a sidebar. We don't really know where he's going exactly.
Yeah, because in the trailer with him, it was hinted like, this is going to be the main character or something. But it was like, nope.
It's like,
nah, you're in the back.
Well, they also hid the lightsaber very, very well. That Rey was going to have a lightsaber until some of the toys started to leak online.
Right.
I think it was the last trailer that we saw her with the lightsaber.
I think so too, but they wanted to hide it for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So you have that story. Then you have Kylo Ren's story, which is we don't really know that, and then you have what happened. That is the biggest question mark, hanging Chad, left in the air. We don't know storyline, and then Star Trek Beyond had none of that. Mostly because a lot of the questions had already been answered to that point. We already knew what was going on at the time. Here, this is the start of a trilogy versus the end of a trilogy.
And we talked about this last week. By and large, when it comes to the three new main characters of Star Wars, The Force Awakens was an origin story, whereas Star Trek Beyond wasn't. It was a Star Trek story, the first true Star Trek story of the Abramverse.
Right. Well, the other thing also about Star Wars is that it's a passing of the torch.
Yeah,
from the new characters and the older characters.
But again, that's another kind of a sidebar story that we never got. We also never got General Hux's story. We never got Snoke's story. All of these are sidebars pushed to the side, whereas Star Trek Beyond was a cohesive, solid story.
And we had callbacks to Enterprise.
Yeah.
In that movie, we had... I don't understand the need to blow up the Enterprise in the third movie of every Kirk franchise.
I don't know why they have to blow it up in every movie of the new one.
They didn't blow. They only blow up the Enterprise in the first movie of the new one of Next Gen.
Well, it comes close to being blown up in every one.
Well, yeah, it's got to have some drama.
What?
And the Enterprise is a character, so you needed that in Jeopardy too.
It gets stale. I'm waiting for the Millennium Falcon to be destroed. By the way,
no,
stop that.
I'm waiting for it. It's going to happen. It will happen either in episode 8 or 9.
You do realize that the next
happen.
movie will have no money at the box office with the Millennium Falcon. That next movie, oh dear God.
No, it'll happen. It's just you know how this is what do they call it? It's a YT 1300 freighter. This would be YT 1300A.
No, it'll be YT 1301.
Oh, 1301.
It'll be the Millennium Falcon A.
So it's Canadian.
Hey.
Okay.
Was that our shout out to David?
Charles out in Manitoba there. All right, so I want to hear from people in the chat because it sounds like Star Trek Beyond is the superior movie. Well, maybe not superior, but it is better.
Oh, no, it is superior.
Okay, all right. Well, Goose will say it's superior.
You want to know how superior it is?
Oh, my God. Here it goes. Stab you with a lightsaber.
Bob's conducting the symphony, by the way. So.
Oh, gracious. Okay, all right. So
By the way, same guy who's doing the Rogue One music.
throw my pen. at you.
That was not a knock. That was some nice information you
I'm
made
sorry.
me aware of.
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing that because of the
No, I didn't say the
How-
other movie
how
that you
we-
had me do it.
how we announced it.
Yeah, no.
Okay, all right. So I want to hear from people in the chat, and we'll read your comments here at the end of the show. I want to know, what do you think? Was Star Trek Beyond better than The Force Awakens?
So
I wanna
Charles
hear from
hasn't
you-
seen one of them yet.
Well, he hadn't seen Star Trek Beyond, and that's just a damn shame. So go see the movie, and we'll wait. Go ahead. We'll wait.
Pause
here.
the podcast,
Yeah,
go watch it, come back.
Exactly. That's exactly what we'll do here.
Everybody pause.
So, so we also have a little bit of news. There is a season 3 returning for Young Justice.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
The Young Justice
that's
series.
awesome.
All right.
That sounded like DC News to me.
Close enough. So
Super
so,
Rancor.
So Young Justice. Brian,
Yes.
fill our beloved audience in on Young Justice, if you please.
So the cartoon Young Justice, it was based on the DC comic by the same name that started in the late 90s. This version started with the clone Superboy, otherwise known as Con-El, so it was pre-Flashpoint. Dick Grayson as Robin, and Miss Martian Aqualad, but not Garth, but a different Aqualad. And then it went first season, and then it came back in the second season, and it was 5 years later. Dick Grayson had grown up to become Nightwing. Tim Drake was Robin. And there's also a Justice League story in there, too, that they developed over the course of the second season. Then it went away.
For how long?
Since 2012, I think.
Yikes.
It's been a while. So they just announced because of fan support. So this is where the power of the fans has come into play.
Absolutely.
So it all depends on you fans to make sure any show is a success and can bring a show back from the grave.
Except Firefly.
Well, let's not talk about that.
Well,
But by the way, the fans made the movie happen.
that's
Yeah,
true.
there you go.
That is
There
true.
There you go. But Young Justice is back, or in the process of coming back to cartoon or to a platform. We don't know yet where it's going to be. Many people are thinking Netflix. I would say make Justice League Action a half hour, put Young Justice with that, and you got a good DC hour on Cartoon Network.
And this comes from Greg Weisman himself, the executive producer.
Yeah. And so it used to be part of like the Young Justice along with Green Lantern. They had a Green Lantern cartoon series as well.
Wow.
On Cartoon Network. So, I caught up with Young Justice on Netflix. I didn't get to watch it when it was going on, but I did watch it on Netflix, and it's really good.
Yeah, because back in the spring, that's when the people were trying to push for, just to have an extra season, and we got it.
And it's got some good names that you'll know. Danica McKellar is Miss Martian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, buddy. But some great voice actors there that can help out and just keep that show rolling if they go back to the original cast. So I highly recommend checking it out on Netflix, supporting it wherever it goes, and watching it so we can get some great pre-Flashpoint DC animation.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what kind of style they're going to go with here in the animation. That'll be interesting to see.
I'm hoping they either go with stay away from Teen Titans Go, dear God.
Oh, yeah. No.
Justice League Action, or stick with the original Young Justice flavor, and I think we're in good shape. Season 2 actually had an overall arc to it. Season 1 was introducing and getting everybody to that point, but each season took place over a year.
And with that being said, I think we should go ahead and roll things into the Sarlacc Pit.
What's going on?
We just got to the Sarlacc Pit.
What's that?
It's this disgusting, horrible creature that's worse than anything you could ever imagine.
Okay, we got a couple of minutes here. Goose, throw someone in.
Okay, fine. Let's throw in all the protesters that are trying to make a peaceful transfer of power violent.
Yeah, no kidding. Put them in. Peter.
Okay, I'm going to have to throw in the person who T-boned my truck a couple of weeks ago when Jenny was here.
Oh.
Yeah, because my truck may be a total loss at this point.
Oh, no.
So this person's getting thrown in a second time because Dave threw him in the first time.
Yeah, throw him in again. And her vehicle.
Put them in. For me, there we go. I want to throw in the pollsters. Everybody who was so wrong. I hope they're unemployed right now. I really do, because they got it so wrong on
Yeah, you
election
don't want to
night.
put that on the resume.
2 years. They're unemployed for almost 2 years.
Well,
about a year and a half, year and a quarter.
There you go.
Because we've got the midterms.
Never trust a poll again. My God, put them in. I've got Reagan Hall DeVore on the Facebook page,
From West Virginia.
Facebook.com/GYGO official from West Virginia, saying that now the election's over, the guy who walked into the polls right when they opened and loudly proclaimed that voter fraud was already reported. They just opened the polls. Put him in. Williams Stufflebeam II says, my stomach for constantly being hungry for McDonald's, even though I have to eat ramen noodles every day. You're doing yourself a favor by not eating McDonald's. Okay,
Yeah.
let's stay away from
Chicken nuggets, man. At least get some protein in your diet. I'm just saying.
But I don't know if I'd classify that as protein or not. But,
I didn't say it was.
all right,
I
so-
I
said
got
it
a
was
story
protein.
about McDonald's after the show.
But he
Okay.
wants his
All right.
stomach put in, so put it in. And finally, that's okay. We got time for one more quick one. Kyle Mikesell says the Jehovah Witnesses at his door. If they're still at his door, because this was put up a few days ago, then man, they're persistent. Put them in. Okay, so that'll wrap it up here for Goose, for Peter, for myself. I want to tell everyone to check us out on social media at GYGO Official. Stay geeky and be sure to get your geek on every single day.